say to my kids each day when they rise, the first lesson I learned in school was a lie, not a lie of omission, no minor deception, but deceit so evil it destroys perception. I learned that American pilgrims and Indians, the former invaders, the latter indigenous, broke bread and ate turkey on a day in November. The sick crimes that followed we need not remember. We never learned terms like ethnical cleansing, nor blankets with smallpox meant for mass killing. We heard of great feasting and friendship of enemies, and stories of kindness, mercy so heavenly. It's therefore no wonder the American public hold viewpoints so twisted they render God sick. Our image of history reverses reality, causing the furthering of terrible cruelty. In the year 67, a team of Israelites rained hell on a ship whose name was the Liberty. They tracked her for days, then unleashed their fire. It lasted 4 hours, their evil so dire. Our leaders denied the truly sick crime, erased it from memory over passage of time. Then called the victims, racists and traitors, to the culprits in turn. They shamelessly catered the specter of evil unfolding before us, satanic in nature, a terrible succubus. Bequeaths politicians with trinkets and jewels, then revels in whoredom, sadistic and cruel. Humans are equal in the eyes of the law, and also in heaven in the eyes of my God. If all life is sacred as Jesus believed, how can you love hatred, your own mind deceived? The humans in Gaza, God's children besieged, are victims of genocide and old history. Yet rulers care nothing for God's loving word, His beckoning voice they never have heard. I say to my kids, learn fast history. Please love your neighbor and find your own peace.
I've been to Palestine. 2.5 years ago, I went there to work with Palestinian women who've been tortured in Israeli jails, which has been documented by Israeli Physicians for Human Rights, by B'Tselem, the Israeli human rights organization, by United Nations and others. Now in Canada, you know, I mentioned the residential schools. In Canada, 4 years ago, there was a poll. Now thousands of children died in those schools. People were tortured, raped, all kinds of stuff, not even controversial. There was a poll in Canada. 70% of Canadians 4 years ago said they knew nothing or little about the residential schools. 70% of Canadians knew nothing or little about the residential schools. to what happened to indigenous people. If you do a poll in the United States based on all the Hollywood movies that people have seen, until very few years ago and even now, most people will know nothing about what happened to the indigenous people here. Nothing. The genocide, the torture, the rape, the starvation. They know nothing about it. And in some states in the United States, it's illegal to even to teach it in the schools. Now, do you think the average Jew knows anything about the indigenous people of Palestine? Now, no, just a second. So, these animals that you talk about, you know, the first massacre of Palestinians in Gaza didn't happen last year. Didn't even happen 4 or 5 years ago when they killed hundreds of children with their bombs. It happened in 1956. Just let me just a second. In 1956, they massacred 200 civilians. Do you know about it? Do you know about it? You've never heard of it. Of course you haven't heard of it. That's why you can call them animals. Otherwise, you'd see them like human beings like the rest of us.